You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Dave Cameo.
Hey,
You're making a cameo appearance in a Out of the Blank episode.
that's correct. It's not like I haven't heard that one before. I'm like 40 years old, so I've heard them all.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do professionally?
So what I do professionally, I'm an IT consultant. So I do a lot of hosted MSP solutions for like schools, legal, medical. In the small little group out of technically out of Jersey, but we work the New York metro area.
But you're not the IT person that helps me fix my internet when it goes down.
No, that would be Verizon.
I wanted to make a horror movie on those people's everyday lives. And like, I want to know the statistic of how many of them go to the top of their building and just look off and be like, I could just do it now.
Right. They look off into the distance and say, if I keep looking at the sunset, maybe I'll just step off. Actually, it's funny that you say that because I know actually somebody that works in telecom. Like there's a TWD fan who works in telecom.
Why do I feel completely powerless? I had my 55-inch TV explode. A little shout out, 55. My buddy bought it for my birthday, and it fucking blew up on me. And I'm like on phone call trying to get this thing repaired. They have to send somebody out. They have to make sure it's like I didn't do any damage to it. And I go through all this emailing. Finally, I get a call list. I call them. 3 hours I sat on the phone listening to shitty elevator music. I swear to God,
3 hours.
I wasted a Saturday. They picked up and I said, thank fucking God. And they hung up on me because you're not allowed to curse at someone. It gives them the right to hang up. So I had to go recall. And then I was on the phone for an hour and a half after that. And then I was like, please don't hang up. I've been through like this call process, just send somebody out. So they ended up scheduling someone and I got a new one. So.
Oh my! Well, that was easy. Wait, hold on. You skipped the best part.
No, I would have paid. I would have paid the $500 or whatever just to get a whole new TV because my Saturday was fucking gone, dude. It's like when they tell you the hasty man or whoever the internet guy is going to be at your house between 8 and 9. Next thing you know, he's not there until like 1 o'clock in the morning. You're like, what the fuck?
I mean, last time I had to do that was like, and this is showing my age and my resilience as a 20-year-old. Because I got this like Samsung, like this kind of high end DVD player. So this is at the time, and I'm like, oh, it's like a progressive scan with component inputs. This is like before HDMI. So I'm like, but like it looks funny on my parents' TV screen. Like it's all the reds are all blocky and shit. And then like so I had this back and forth between Samsung repair, and then they sent me a new one, and even that new one sucked. And then they went back after them again. This is like a 2-month long thing. Like this is like how tenacious a 20-year-old is compared to a 40-year-old. A 40-year-old will just go, oh, I guess they came out with a new technology. I'll just get that now. You know, it's kind of like ridiculous.
I never understood the difference between 4K until my buddy had a 4K television. I'm sitting down and I'm like, whoa, it's regular TV. And then I go back to my normal television and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Did my eyes just downgrade on me? I'm like pulling out my glasses. Like everything is all, it's like when you get a new prescription glasses or something. I don't know if you wear glasses. Everything's all fucking like HDMI'd out. You're like, whoa, too much detail. Like starts to give you a headache. You feel like you can't wear them all the time.
Yeah, I remember when I first got glasses, I wore them and I looked at the floor. I'm like, why is the floor bulging up at me? Like it looks like one of those trick speed bumps or something in a fun house. And eventually, why is it that your eyes, I guess, eventually like adjust and stuff.
I can't believe like they talk about the screens and everything. Like when I'm watching movies on my 55-inch TV and I'm like sitting like, I mean, not even maybe, I don't even know, maybe like 4 feet away from it. That's not good for me.
Distance. Yeah.
I got my new license when I turned 21 at the NBA, and they're like, can you, like, they're showing me the lines, everything. Can you read the bottom line? I'm like, yeah, it's TZFRZK. And the woman's like, not even fucking close. I'm like, what? And she was like, I was like, look, I don't have my glasses on me and everything. She's like, just read it one more time. So I freaking pull my eyes like this, like I'm
Oh, yeah, like,
HDMI it out. And I'm like looking, I'm like, oh, and I read it and I missed the last letter. And she goes, close enough. I'm like, all right.
Close enough. You can drive now. Just drive with your glasses.
Don't worry about people on the road.
Yeah, guys. Yeah. I mean, they just have to worry about you.
Look, I can drive with my eyes closed. I have done it. And I don't recommend it because it is scary for a quick minute. Like, you ever be driving and you're like just really tired and you conk out for a minute and then you wake up like, whoa.
A whole minute? No. But yeah, I do know what you're talking about. I've driven cross country before.
Man.
It's gross.
That's a horror movie. I'm telling you, a couple seconds just at the wheel. Ooh. So
I remember like literally having like one of those Dumb and Dumber moments. Like where you wake up and you're almost like out, on the side of the road. Like, how did I get on this side road? Like,
I parked over off to the side, and you get out, and next thing you know, there's like a person dead on the front of your car. You're like, whoa,
that's a horror movie.
I don't think I parked. That or with a hitchhiker, actually, which I found out hitchhiking is illegal. Because in my area, I hitchhiked for like 10 miles. I was trying to hitch a ride. I'm like, I'm not a bad looking guy. I'm not anybody that looks like he's going to murder you in your sleep or something. It's the middle of the fucking day. Nobody picked me up. A cop passed me.
A cop picked you up.
And a hitchhiker is illegal. So hitchhiking, the cop should at least stop and then arrested me or gave me a ticket or something. No, he kept on driving. I was like, nobody wants to associate with me right now.
That's a commentary right now. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like, okay, I think it's like federally, like if you're on an interstate, I think it's like 100% illegal. I'm not sure about state by state though, like on hitchhiking. But I'm probably wrong.
I walked 10 miles and the last 10 miles or the last 3 miles was in rain.
This wasn't today, right? Because we were just talking about this before.
No, this was like a couple months ago. I remember, dude, it was a pain in the ass. And I was like, I saw so many people like my neighbors that are really, really nice. So on my way back, I see them like unloading their car. And I just fucking looked at them like, fucking took me forever, bro. Like, you really like it's whatever, man.
Well, first of all, like what made you have to hitchhike is the question, or is this like one of those things where you're trying to be without a car?
My car just broke down, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then my phone was dead, and this was like, I don't know anybody's number because my phone is so damn beneficial. It's like, don't worry, it's under mom, it's under dad, it's under friend or something.
Oh man!
I'm like, well, thanks. I don't know anybody's phone number but my own anymore.
You were just talking about that recently with somebody. Like, I barely know my wife's. My voice cell phone.
Dude, there's a trend now where it's called text your number neighbor. And it's you text one number off from you. So I don't want to say my number, but someone texted me that was a number below me, like just one digit, the last digit, just one change thing, and said, "Hey, I'm your number neighbor." And I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And I was like, "That's funny. Have a good day." And whatever. Like, we just got to like ask like a few questions, like, "Where are you from?" And then we said where we're from or whatever. And then, all right, cool. Have a nice day. Then I deleted it. And then like a month later, I get another text like, "I'm lonely." I'm like,
whoa.
And then I deleted that one. And then now, like, not even a week ago, they texted me again. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to have to block my number neighbor.
Well, now you need to have him on the podcast.
I sent him a picture of my podcast. I was like, look it up. So I wonder if like he's just gonna like, I'll get a random follow on like Instagram, and then they're like, "Hey, I want to be on your podcast. Why aren't you talking to me anymore?" I'm like,
yeah, cringe.
So tell me a little bit about your podcast. Now you have one called The Squawking Dead.
Yeah, it's just Squawking Dead. Because like, I mean, I didn't want it to sound too close to The Walking Dead, and obviously I kind of wanted to bite off of the Talking Dead, off of Talking Dead. So we just kind of did Squawking Dead. And
is it loving the show, or is it kind of shitting on the show?
Oh, so yeah, that's actually a really good question, because I've listened to other Walking Dead podcasts, and I mean, I'm not name dropping or anything, but like a lot of it is kind of like a dump fest.
I mean, dude,
you know what I mean?
Talking to a kid when I first discovered the first season of Walking Dead on HBO, I was like, what is this? And then I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, these are really, really good. It was a good concept in the beginning, but when it starts going 8, 9 seasons, I stopped at season 5. I was like, I can't do this shit anymore.
Right.
And the concept of you can only recreate a zombie episode so many times before it's like, it's the same concept. Like my all-time favorite character, Merle. Okay. Merle, and then once like Merle was in a couple episodes and he was gone, and then it was like Daryl. And then when they brought Merle back, I was like, I was in it. And especially when they left you at the part where Daryl and Merle in the ring together, and the governor has him pinned up. I'm like, oh, like I remember.
How heartbreaking was that too?
It was.
You were invested.
I have an
you?
older brother, so I know the brother relationship type thing. So I knew like at doing anything for them, and also fighting sometimes and disagreeing, but overall kind of connecting. But I remember I was in this kind of, they call it the dumb kids class. It was more like for the bad kids, but I wasn't in there because I was an idiot. I was in there because my school screwed me over on math credits, and they're like, "We're just gonna put you in this class. All you gotta do is show up, and you get an A." So my teacher would just let me walk around. But I remember,
easy A class.
Yeah, but I remember every Sunday, that night I'd watch The Walking Dead. Then on Monday I'd come in, and my teacher was a fan of The Walking Dead, so he pulled up Talking Dead on his computer, and we just watched the whole class.
Oh wow, yeah. I've heard more than one teacher do that though. And by the way, the season 5 like exit that's a very common thing, by the way, because I do talk to people about the podcast that have stopped watching The Walking Dead. It's a weird thing having so many friends who've watched it and then exit like season 5, and I don't know why do you think that is actually? Why do you think most people, from your perspective, like leave by season 5?
Because it doesn't feel like it just feels like it's gonna keep on going and going the same direction. I mean, I remember them hitting, like in the beginning, first of all, let's talk about the build up to it. So the whole concept of someone going into a coma during a zombie apocalypse, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You get shot in whatever, and next thing you know, it starts leading. The first season had a lot of momentum to it. It became a very, very popular one. Then it starts to kind of tamper off. I'd probably say around season 3, but like season 2, when they hit the farm, I played the games too, so I was a big fan of the games as well. But it had a lot of good stuff to it. Norman Reedus, I remember him from Boondock Saints, so I was immediately hooked. But like, I don't know, around season 5, it just like with everything, it just seemed like it was going in the same direction. And they started adding way too much shit. And it was like, my dad brought up a good point. He's like, how are they having sex when nobody has showered in so long? Like,
that stuff has kind of dropped off too. Like, I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's kind of like, well, I can see people having sex in the beginning, like, because you're referring to like Shane and Laurie in the beginning, right?
Yeah. But
then like, there is no like mention of sex except for like obviously 2 other characters, which is Stephen Young's character, Glenn, and Maggie.
Yeah.
Right. But they're like really young, like around that time. Like everybody else is just getting older. And so it's kind of like it stops becoming about sex. And then it's more like I kind of don't want to be near you, but I love you, So it's like one of those things.
Have you still kind of loved it from the start too? Like, are you still kind of falling out of it now?
No, actually, it's kind of quite the opposite. Well, I mean, not quite the opposite. If you think about it, like I started watching from the beginning, and we kind of only started podcasting in season 8. So,
you're relatively new on it then.
Well, like new in podcasting about it.
Yeah, not new on the whole Walking Dead.
On the whole watching it, yeah. So it's kind of an odd thing to step into that season because, I mean, actually, it couldn't have been a better time if you really think about it. You have all these people that are exiting, like in terms of the popular watchers, exiting season 5, 6, 7, etc.
I think season 7 they brought people back though. Season 7's with Negan, right?
Yeah. Season 7's with Negan.
That was funny as shit because I saw Dave Chappelle do a bit off that as well. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I actually didn't, but now I want to.
You got to look up Dave Chappelle's bit on The Walking Dead. He dresses up as Negan, and then he has all his characters like.
Maybe. I did see that. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! It
was a small bit, but yeah, it was really, really funny. And it was right around that season, exactly that season.
That first part, like where he starts bashing in Glenn's head with the bat, and his eyes all popped out, like. Everyone like was either about to throw up or they lost their shit. I mean,
that was a holy shit moment right there. And that was like a make or break moment for the show, because if you were in either deeper or you were like almost out. I think some people were out after that. They're like, I can't handle this anymore. They killed Glenn. Meanwhile, Glenn dies in the comics. So this isn't like fresh territory. You know what I mean?
Well, they had a lot of good concepts. Like in the beginning, you find out that everyone's infected. So when you die, you automatically turn into a zombie. That whole build
Yeah.
up to that. And it really kind of like, I don't know, it was a lot that fell into place, especially when he grabs a grenade in the beginning and, puts it next to the glass and explodes the door. There were so many kind of weird out
Yeah.
turns and twists, like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, taking you down a road or something, then leading you somewhere else. But then eventually it just became kind of the same concept over and over again. You kind of start expecting these things to happen.
Yeah, some things like that. I am actually surprised that I mean, when you consider that they had Fear the Walking Dead, which is kind of like a sort of not prequel, but they kind of start right when it starts to happen in LA. So what ends up happening, so you start to see other groups figure out how the apocalypse works, right? And so what I'm surprised about is how The Walking Dead, how late in the game they found out that dead people rise. And then other groups like in Fear the Walking Dead and other spin-offs and stuff like that in other areas, they find out pretty quickly that the dead rise. So like for pilot episode, I think it was for Fear the Walking Dead, or either that or the second episode, they figured out really quick. So I just thought that was kind of interesting how they didn't waste any time, or like it just seems like Rick found out way later than everybody else in the apocalypse.
All right. Well, everybody knows what they're going to do in the zombie apocalypse. So what's your plan? If you were going to survive the Walking Dead, if it was real, if you were going to survive zombies coming back, how would you start it off? Because you got to think, like, let's put me and you in this scenario. Okay.
Okay.
Zombies are breaking out. People are kind of not knowing what's going on, but people are infected on the streets. Let's say they're running around, people are dying everywhere. So there's still a good population left. We didn't go into a coma or anything. We're still kind of around it when it's happening. First thing, where are we going?
Where are we going? Out. I mean, it seems to be the best solution is to just go out to where there's less people.
People, go to an isolated area like a farm, like kind of Herschel's farm in a little bit. That was the best concept, was there was nobody in the distance for miles. You know what I mean? And they collected them all and put them in a barn.
Yeah, exactly. So somewhere like relatively isolated and probably with good sight lines too, so you can see what's coming like from far away.
It's weird because everyone always chooses a boat thinking that water's going to save them. But I saw a zombie movie where the zombies swam.
Oh God, really?
It all depends. I think.
How is that possible?
They didn't swim, like float on top of the water. They just walked like they were zombies like they were just walking on the bottom of the thing.
On the water, right. And the sea, right.
Yeah, these people were in a raft and they're just sitting there like, I forgot what it is. I know that Danny Trejo plays in it. But these zombies just like came up and grabbed them all off the raft. I was like, fuck, if zombies can swim, your whole plan changes.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they Walking Dead zombies, or are they World War Z zombies where they fucking mash up against each other and just climb above shit?
So what are we in this scenario? Like, are we talking World War Z zombies, or are we talking Walking Dead zombies? Because
I want to do Walking Dead zombies.
Yeah, I would too.
I would probably survive easier on that one.
Yeah. I think we both would actually. And I always kind of find it funny too, because actually Fear the Walking Dead explores the open seas in their second season, I believe. Yeah. And so what ends up happening is, and this is the thing about like all the Walking Dead series, is that it's not really a zombie show. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but it's really kind of like, who are the Walking Dead really? It's really the people, so it's either because of, what the apocalypse has caused them to become, like either like the Walking Dead, like it's all about survival. It's all about like going to our base instincts, or it's about trying to find, and you often see this in our group and also in some of the anime, like the antagonists, you'll see how the apocalypse has made them better people, or they become more of who they were meant to be post-apocalypse.
Yeah, but that's a weird thing to say, because if you notice, Rick was a pushover. Rick, he was like, he was that guy in the back, like, I guess so. Like, yeah, sure, we can do that. He wasn't much of a leadership role. And then you saw him later change his views, like when he was like, this is not a democracy. This is a Ricktatorship.
Ricktatorship, right?
You saw him after so much shit happened, he got fed up. You saw the change, like, oh, to get anywhere in this world at all now, you have to take things instead of, it's not more about, offerings. I mean, it seems like because I know in the video game as well, there was always someone obsessed with getting to the shore, getting on a boat, and thinking that was the main idea. They thought like just stay away from land. I'm like, you got to be like the woodsman that's already living out in the woods. You probably be perfectly safe.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like why when you propose the idea of what you and me would do during the apocalypse, I'm like, my first default instinct is like, and I say this to everybody on the show, I'm like, you think you're a Daryl Dixon, you're literally Eugene in Daryl cosplay.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's most people.
That's the best explanation because honestly,
I'm making t-shirts.
Look, I had a fucking dream one time of The Walking Dead being real, like my zombie plan. It was one of those real dreams where you wake up in a sweat, like holy shit, like you're freaked out, like heart's beating and everything. Then I realized if The Walking Dead was real, I'd be fucked. Because I was just thinking, I was like, I'm going to end up going to, and something stupid's going to happen. You know, like T-Dog slicing his arm or something.
Yeah. Oh, God. What a way to go.
Like, everyone's like, that dumbass. But I'm like, you don't understand so many things that could happen.
Yeah. From like getting sick, like just getting sick is a thing.
Brad Pitt had the best idea, like just grab magazines and tape them around you so when they go to bite you, it's like armor. I'm like, that was fucking perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you don't need to be complicated. You just have to have a thick. But yeah, I mean, like, how do you live like that too, right? You just walk around in a suit of magazine armor. You know,
it was crazy because you know how easy it is to get a cut on anything and then get that infected. But like, imagine if that's already in the air.
Right. Or yeah, imagine it was in the water or the air or whatever it is. And then, you know, and then when we're talking about what kind of zombie apocalypse is it, if you're in The Walking Dead, you're already sick. It's just a matter of, you know, do you die and then turn, or do you get bit and then turn eventually, like really quickly?
You know, I had one of those survey callers call me one time, you know.
Oh, God.
Usually I don't answer because usually every time I answer, I'm like, hello. And they're like, hi, are you Amanda? And I'm like, no, my name is Robbie. And they're like, oh, well, maybe you can help me. If you're looking for fucking Amanda, please just look for Amanda because I'm taking a shit. So one time someone called me and they were like, hi, do you have a minute to take a survey? And I thought it was like an automated machine. I was like, no, I don't want to take your fucking survey. And they said, sir, you don't have to yell. I said, oh, I'm sorry. You're an actual person? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I had a survey on brain injury I wanted to ask you about. I was like, what do you mean a survey on brain injury? She goes, I'm part of the CDC survey system, and we're actually looking to see about brain injury. And I swear to God, this is a true story. I was at work when this happened. And I said, I will answer your questions if you let me ask you one question, because I have a buddy who's his friend works in the CDC. And I know that sounds like, oh, I got a friend of a friend who knows a guy. No, but basically his uncle. And I was talking to him. I was like, so you work for the CDC at one point? He said, yeah. And I was like, is there anything like you guys are testing over there? He goes, well, it's been a while, but you know, in our actual training manual, there's a thing on how to deal with hazardous chemicals and also zombies. And I'm like, what do you mean by zombies? More like something coming back with like no function in the brain, but not like the whole, you know, grim grave reaper factor. So I asked the CDC lady, I said, if I can ask you one question. And she said, okay. I said, is it true that in your training book, there is something on the CDC where you would have to handle zombies, like effectively, like a way to effectively handle or treat a zombie or isolate a patient? She said, I am not at the liberty to discuss that. I said, that's all I needed. Click.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. You didn't answer her questions.
Confirm my fucking belief.
That came out actually recently because like part of like an ancillary thing about being a podcast that, you know, breaks down episodes of The Walking Dead is like you have this Google News feed and you're just trying to listen to see if there's any new things that come out. And then all of a sudden I get this one like news article that of course mentions The Walking Dead. And I'm reading through it and it's like, there literally is a protocol for if the zombie apocalypse hits. There literally is measures that they like potential measures they have to put in place.
Beef jerky.
Yeah, I've got some.
Lots of beef jerky in a warehouse filled with other things like sustainable foods. You know, if you
or
have
like a smokehouse or something.
I don't know if I'd want to be in a group of people. I'd want a small confined spot. Like a lot of people try and build communities. I'm like, I don't know if I would do that, especially at the start, because then you're trying to keep track of so many people. It's like you really need to get yourself safe first.
Yeah.
Like, if you buy a dog and you work all the time, you realize I can't even take care of myself. Why am I going to have this animal?
Yeah, and like, how are you going to keep track of like a noisy dog? Like, I mean, like, it would have to be a specific breed, and you have to cut its vocal codes.
I Am Legend.
Right.
Those zombies.
Right. Those are insane.
The fucking smart ones. And the fact that Will Smith, Dr. Neville in the movie, had to fucking put down like chemicals and shit after where he stepped, and then bathe when he got home, wipe off footprints, and then shut everything because the zombies were looking for him throughout the whole city. Like, whoa.
Right. I mean, I remember him talking about that opening scene, I think it was, where he showers like without the curtain and everything.
Yeah.
Like, just so that he's like, he can see everything that's coming, right?
Well, it's so his scent doesn't stain. I mean, how many times you look at your shower curtain, you see a lot of dirt on there. That's his scent. So he's got to make sure that nothing can get contaminated anywhere. So nothing will have his scent on it. He's got to wash himself every single day. And he goes into town to kind of get supplies. But at the same time, he's leaving his scent everywhere.
Right. Exactly. And so, but like with the way he was describing that, it seems like it's not only just because of like, masking his scent, but he was saying like, he was like, yeah, I was really trying to get into the character of the kind of character that's like has post-traumatic stress, like he's constantly vigilant. He's constantly looking, like if he has a shower curtain closed, he can't see what's coming. So he has to have the door open and the shower curtain open so that if someone's coming after him, he's ready, and it's really like, it made me tense hearing him talk about that. Like not even in the movie, just talking to an interviewer and being like, yeah, I really had to get into that mindset. And then like that was in the back of my brain as I watched the movie. I'm like thinking like, I'm like exactly like this guy, like I'm like, now I'm like in his mindset of like being really tense throughout the movie, and it really fucked me up. Well, especially with that mannequin scene.
Oh, dude. And then
that screwed me
the
up.
Mannequins. Yo, yeah. I swear to God, I was done in the theaters when the dog died. When he had to kill his own dog, and the dog tried to save his life, and he was like, don't do it. You can't, you can get infected. I can't. Right. That whole thing. I was like, damn, yo.
Yeah.
When the dog dies, it's just like, there's no point in even living in the zombie apocalypse anymore.
Which, by the way, like there is a real, I don't know if it's a problem, but I mean, maybe, and you basically highlighted an issue not an issue, but like a thing that I often see in the like Twitter and all that stuff with the fandom. It's like whenever somebody dies, everybody's like, yeah, it's whatever. This character died. Oh, I like this character, etc.
When I didn't even see Carl die. I had to look that up on YouTube because my mom was like, do you watch The Walking Dead anymore? I was like, no, I don't watch that stupid shit. She was like, you used to love it. I was like, yeah, till season 5 or 4 or whatever. And it really got the same concept, kind of got a little old. And she's like, but Carl just died. And I was like, what? I went immediately onto YouTube, looked that shit up because I wanted him to die since he was throwing rocks at that zombie in the beginning. And the zombie got out and killed Dale later on. I was like,
yeah, wasn't that something?
That kid was just, I think it was the actor too.
Oh, well, that's also an interesting topic. But no, but like going on this thought though, is that, you'll see the character dies. Oh, it's sad. And then, but like all of a sudden, if you go after an animal, it's not like they kind of skip the whole being sad about it part. And then they kind of go straight to canceling the show. Like people are so much more attached to animals than they are human beings in some ways.
Because you'll donate.
Am I right?
You'll donate to the SPCA before you'll donate to a small African child. It's less money.
Like donate to St. Jude's. Pass. Like,
dude, I'm just telling you, if they revamped the SPCA commercial and made it a hell of a lot more like enjoyable to watch, like be like, there's animals, not like animals dying, but like there's animals that need your help. Take Sarah McLachlan out of that shit. It's too sad. People flip the channel. If you make them actually, be able to see stuff like, hey, just this donation, get like Ron White on there, like donate to some fucking dogs,
Donate to some fucking dogs.
Yeah, that would change the whole concept of the commercials. People would be donating left and right.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? I think you've perfected something. I think if they did, if the St. Jude said, and now we treat cats and dogs, so it's not only St. Jude's Children Hospital, it's like St. Jude's Children and Animal Hospital. And so
combine them. So if you donate to a dog, a small percentage of that goes to some child.
Well, yeah, I mean, and think of what that translates to, right? There's probably a lot of money for cancer research for children.
I think a lot of people get entertained on the concept of like a widespread infection or the government doing something with disease because we know we have an overpopulation problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, even though like our birth rates are declining too, like at least the US's birth rates are declining. Yeah.
Man,
it's a weird thing, isn't it?
There's more people being born than being killed off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing is like, so some of the stuff that I've been listening to is yes, in the world, we have a population problem. But in the US, it's kind of weird. Like a lot of the mortality rate of like the birth mortality rate in this country has actually gotten worse than it ever has been. It is weird because we know we're like on the forefront of medicine. And yet I think with birth medicine, like we're not doing too great in a lot of states, like a lot of big populous states too, like Texas.
Well, people are living longer too. So now
that's a problem.
Yeah. We're having people that are like becoming like immortal just on how many supplements and how many surgeries they can have. You know what I mean? It's going to the point like, America has an overpopulation problem on the concept of when you're around people too much, you start to get aggressive and you start to, all that bad energy starts to create a little bit of violence, which is where people always bring up the issue of a gun problem. Like we don't have a gun problem. We have a people problem. There are a lot of fucking people here. And the thing is, if I lock you in a house with someone you really, really love for 4 weeks on end and nobody's able to leave, you have to communicate with them every day. It's like being locked with your family. Someone's reaching for a fucking butter knife.
Right.
You're not meant to be around people 24/7 of every single day.
Oh God, no.
You need that release. You need that self-time thought. Like even a lot of families are like, hey, we need to kind of go to our rooms real quick and relax and be with ourselves for a little bit. Like even that sleep, you're by yourself usually.
Yeah. I mean, well, even if you're with someone, you're by yourself. And if you really think about it, like maybe it's not maybe chemically there's something going on like oxytocin and, having somebody like a body right next to you. I know it sounds really crude, but like a body that is alive next to you.
Well, it's the same concept of when someone's having like me and you having a conversation, our brains after a while start to get on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're thinking about the same things. We're able to connect more. That's why I said if people just took more time to talk to one another, you'll find that you have similar interests and you'll have things that you guys can bond over with. But people only get that initial connection, and sometimes that's too much.
Right. I think that's true in as much as saying like, I think most people do want to, at least when they're talking in person or they're talking face to face or whatever it is, I think most people tilt towards agreeableness. Like they want to have a good time. Nobody wants to be the one to go, hey, excuse me, did you say something that offended me? And then no, and then you have this weird schism.
Yeah, well, people want to be offended now, especially like, you kill a dog in a fucking zombie movie. People are like, I'm offended because I own that same breed of dog or I own that dog in a past life. You're like, hold on a second. It's a show, guys. Let's understand it's a show.
Yeah. But, and you know what, that's the thing too. It's like and that's the difference. That's why I emphasize like, you and me talking face to face, even like on a pseudo level, like, we want to tilt towards agreeableness. We want to have a good conversation. But like when it's like on Twitter, it's literally you vomiting your thoughts across the ether.
Yeah. And it's like, that's what like comedians use a lot of Twitter because they can just get a quick thought out there. It's funnier saying a one line thing. See, if you say something in a movie or you say something in like an interview, then someone reads that, the context is taken out. It's like when you auto text.
Yeah. It depends on who's reading it.
When you voice text, your phone does not evoke emotion. So next thing you know, that's how people get into arguments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As an early text adopter, I know exactly what you mean. I can't tell you how many like relationship arguments happened over like a poorly formed, and it could have been a perfectly formed text, but it's just missing so much context.
That's one of the benefits of a zombie apocalypse was that the internet would probably be shut down.
Oh God. Yeah. I suppose that would be a hindrance, but
you would start to wake up around the world, be like, this is fucking crazy. Like I don't have to be on my phone anymore. You could just use it to take pictures, like selfies with zombies or something. There's a bunch of
that
kids.
That would be a baller move too, though, right?
There's a bunch of kids in the beginning that are just going to fucking go and take selfies. And next thing you know, everybody's dying.
Which actually is funny because that you say that because there's that new I think it's a Netflix series called Daybreak.
Yeah, that's a really good concept. It was based on a nuke that hit the little town they live in, and it's all these kids like that are trying to survive and stuff.
Post-apocalypse. So it's like Lord of the Flies, crossed
Basically,
over
yeah.
with like a zombie film.
It's like a parody version of The Walking Dead, basically.
Right, exactly. So like I'm wondering, because it's marketed in a way that like I guess young people would like really like it. I don't really know, but like, so that's like when you said selfies with zombies, I'm like, oh yeah, that's happening in this show. If it does, I will. You know how you have like the drinking game?
Yeah.
So like every ridiculous thing, and if that's one of them, you have to drink. That's what's going to have to happen. Like every time you see something ridiculous like that.
Try playing the drinking game with The Walking Dead.
Oh God. Well, I wonder what that would be like too. I mean, the show's gotten really good though. Like, and I know what you mean, by the way, of like how people drop off and why people drop off. And season 7 and 8, it's kind of like I was getting to before. Like the reason why we kind of came on season 8 was kind of like we noticed that we could be like the psychologists for people who are still there. Because 7 and 8 were like torture porn. Like even though Negan's like in some ways comedy relief, but like it was a really tough watch. I mean, it's really hard to see your protagonist like go through this whole thing. And then even season 8, how it was trying to pick up, it looked like it was kind of creeping up, and then all of a sudden, wham, 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 they just kind of took him down again. And I mean, not to spoil anything, but like eventually I know some people will want to, and that I've been talking to a lot of people now that they've been hearing, season 9 is like this weird kind of throwback to how things were in the beginning. There's cooperation, there's this, there's that. And then all of a sudden shit starts to go down. Like I've been talking to people now that want to get into it, but they're like, I'll just watch it all like in one go on Netflix or something. So like now
it's just, it honestly, it's easier, but it kills the whole like loving aspect of The Walking Dead, waiting for it to come out the next Sunday, having that thing. I remember coming home from school, like bam, it's the weekend, have a fun weekend. The next thing you know, it's like, all right, shit, here we go. Walking Dead tonight.
Right.
9:00, make sure TV is on. You were watching it a little bit before so you can get caught up and refreshed.
Right. Yeah. And they were showing like the last week's episode before this week and stuff like that. And that's kind of cool. So actually we were talking about this on the podcast. I think maybe it's probably the season finale of Fear the Walking Dead, which is like only a few episodes ago. But one of the things we started noticing, like in terms of how TV shows are formed, like in terms of how they cut for commercials and stuff like that. And because how like Netflix shows, it's like one straight go, no commercials. And sometimes they do have like these weird cuts that could be for television. But, obviously they're not. A little fades between scenes. But we've been noticing that, like, it seems as like even The Walking Dead has been cutting their shows for zero commercials and for like almost binge watching. And we never noticed that more until the last season of The Walking Dead. And there was even an episode this season and even like one in Fear the Walking Dead where we noticed that like, oh, this would be a lot better if there were no commercials, like watching it and without having, like, because some of these scenes are so intense and they kind of keep going, even though they get kind of cut for commercials. But had there not been commercials there, like the whole thing would flow a lot better. We wouldn't be taken out of the scene. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think that's possibly demonetization too? With all the graphic stuff that gets played in The Walking Dead, they make it hard to pick up advertisements or sponsorships.
Oh, I don't think they have any hard time with that. Actually, I've been the weird thing about like how the ratings are working and how their revenue is actually going up because they're getting more sponsorships. It's a weird thing. I don't even try to pretend to understand how marketing works, but I read, like, I try to get the ratings for each show, after a couple of days to kind of see what the viewership was in terms of popular viewership on straight TV. And then obviously we try to get DVR ratings and stuff like that. But the weird thing is, and things that I've read is that even though the ratings for The Walking Dead have been classically down, and like I remember seeing that the premiere for this season was kind of oddly low. Like it was like a 10-year low. But when you look at like how much money is being pumped into that show by advertisers, it only seems to trend up. Like, and I think maybe, and I'm trying to figure this one out, And I think what it is, and I can confirm this with people in the industry, is that I think people more bet on a stable horse than a volatile horse. Do you know what I mean? Like if the ratings were up and down, they would have to look at the trends. But like if they have solid, 4 million watchers across just this country, right?
Yeah, you want to make sure they maintain an audience, and no advertiser wants to go anything. Like that's why they always tell you to be family friendly. That's why they always tell you to do, everything. So it's more of adaptive. You'll build up a bigger following that way. Like for me, I'm like, I don't really give a shit, only on the concept of, I like the real conversation aspect. If someone wants to curse, if someone wants to say something, I'm like, then just, if you want to give me an advertisement, then hell, give me an advertisement where I can sell that shit by using, my real view on it too. Like, yeah, it does the job, or it does, I wouldn't be the best marketer towards it, but I'd be like, screw it. I think that's what makes, like, I guess a network though, because like how many times do you like wait for Fear Fest to come up on AMC, and the next thing you know, there's like, if you're just getting flooded with commercials, you're like, can we just watch the fucking movie?
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the point of why we brought it up, because it's kind of like, I feel like it kind of goes on the tail of what I was saying before, like how the same people that kind of dropped off at season 5 that are hearing the show is getting better, they're 4 seasons away, and they're like saying, I'll just watch it when the whole thing finishes. And so that's it. My thing was, it's really kind of a commentary on how we watch television. Is the way we watch television going to be changing? Like, is AMC going to start investing in digital only? That's kind of a big question.
Switch over to like Netflix. Like,
yeah,
we see a lot of Netflix produced stuff now. Like a lot of things aren't on HBO or on regular cable anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and if Valhalla, and it seems like, by the way, it seems like they're making moves to move in that direction. And I mean this, like, out of the few shows that are on digital as well, I feel like AMC is doing this one right, because do you know how like some people have exclusivity rights on certain things? Like, okay, let's say this season ends and then it's already on Netflix, right? Or like, how like a season on terrestrial television ends, and then they wait for the next season to start to have the last season in full on like Netflix or something like that. AMC is doing something a little different. They're doing the same thing, only they're making it available on Netflix, on Hulu, on all these other streaming services. And I imagine they'd probably strike a deal with Disney. So they're not keeping it exclusive to those networks on top of having AMC Premiere. So they're already staged to kind of move in the only digital space. So I think the next thing is they're going to just jump ship on terrestrial television and just do AMC Premiere. And if people want to watch, they wait for that season to end, and then it shows up in all these other digital streaming medias too.
Well, I think cable nowadays is becoming a little bit obsolete. Like, there's going to be obviously people that still love to watch regular television besides like sports games and all that. But it's like it's going to take a whole new media form when it comes to Netflix. And now Amazon doing Amazon Video seems like it's endangering Netflix a little bit in a way, because now it seems like Amazon immediately got rid of Barnes and Noble, got rid of all those places you would go. Netflix killed freaking Blockbuster, all those types of forms of HBO and everything like that. People rather just not go anywhere and get the actual DVD. But I mean, the marketing industry, that's a fucking horror film if anybody wanted to decide to make one. But.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine how, like, can you imagine how these people are trying to spin their wheels to try to keep making money? It's insane.
Well, they marketed The Walking Dead pretty good, because I think it was produced by Kevin Smith. So that's all the comic books. Like, that's like, it's supposed to line off that whole series. Even though they don't follow the comic book line, it's all, obviously each season is made by a different director, but it was a good spinoff, kind of like a little bit of like the Coen brothers. Like when they do movies like The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, it's a bunch of bits into one movie. So it's a bunch of different directions of like different people giving their own spin of a story or something. So I think that's what makes The Walking Dead very fascinating, because you get to see how each director produces each season. But it seems like if you're getting the last season, like if you're getting the newest one that's coming out now, you're kind of fucked, because so many people are already giving up on it anyway. Like, you're like, damn, they're not even going to give me a shot.
Well, that's a funny thing you saying that, because when people had seen how rough season 7 and 8 were, they actually brought back Angela Kang to direct 9 and then eventually 10, like going off of the success of 9. Like she went into 10 also, and it's kind of like, and it gave it kind of that feel of how it was before it. So she's not only directing, but she was executive producing as well.
Do you think that they found that their original audience that tried to stay loyal to it kind of started seeing that the numbers were dwelling off a little bit?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Like if people didn't die off by season 5, kind of like you were, people definitely fell off, especially in Glenn's death.
Kill me off. Don't you kill me off just yet. I might end up watching it when it hits season 20. I don't know.
It's all about resurrection, baby. So you can come back anytime.
Well, that's what makes it difficult, like for you in doing the podcasting, though, because I find that with any podcaster or someone that's focusing on the show, you only have until that show's gone. Like I know some people, like they ended after the 4th season. Next thing you know, they're sitting there just redoing, and then next thing you know, what the actors are doing now. It's like, damn, you're going to lose your audience at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like you've got a bunch of episodes, obviously, you can dive into. But it's like when you do a TV show and you stick on that basis without kind of just talking about just zombies in general, you'll have to expand out into other categories like Talking Dead. And then, you know, it eventually it kind of ends on a road.
Yeah. That's you know what? It's funny because we've only been doing this 2 years, right? Obviously. But there was a point in time where, okay, we're only just getting off the ground and we're thinking to ourselves, how much more of this could there be? And then like all of a sudden within this last year, it's this weird thing where it's like somebody must have heard us. But I mean, obviously not, but we've got like they have a new series coming out in spring of 2020 called, well, it's unnamed, but it's, you know, hashtag TWD3. So this is like a 3rd series kind of geared towards probably a younger audience as it kind of revolves around like teenagers in the apocalypse. But in kind of like a serious lore kind of way where they get into things that they get into like communities that have sprung up ever since the dawn of the apocalypse. That all the stuff had been going on in the background while Rick, you know, was trying to survive in the woods and then tearing off a guy's ear and all this other stuff. And meanwhile, there's these advanced civilizations going on that nobody knows about. And they're kind of going into that in this new series. And so, and I actually, I saw the preview at New York Comic Con, which, you know, we had a panel, and then I eventually saw the TWD3 panel, the TW3 trailer, and it was pretty well produced. Like it was really, really, really well produced. And it kind of made me think to myself, there is so much more potential for show. Like Fear the Walking Dead, you'd think that show was going to the wayside, but no, they're kind of starting to connect the two worlds of Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. And so they're playing a lot with that. This new series is obviously going to play a lot with, you know, little hints and Easter eggs that have happened in The Walking Dead. And now they also have like a feature film with Rick Grimes in it. Because, I mean, for those of you who don't know, in the beginning of season 9, it looked like we were going to lose Rick Grimes, but eventually he was kind of carted off in a helicopter and to be taken to his feature film in some unknown location that involves maybe a little of that TWD3 series, you know. And I
thought he died on a bridge.
Oh, exactly. I thought that's what everybody else thinks in the show, at least. But you see the moment where he's helicoptered away too.
I think it's crazy because like when they have a show like this and like you have a character for 9 seasons and the actor decides to have differences or leave the show, you're really, really kind of screwed over because you're so reliant on like him being the face. Like, you know, like if they would have gave him in the beginning, like a small, like little Colt for a pistol, you know, like a little like regular like tactical or something. No, it would have been like a whole different effect on Rick hitting you in the beginning. But no, they gave him a giant ass python.
Colt python.
Let's rip this thing out here and really measure dicks. Like it was like that whole thing. Like, and then he became connected. Like when he has his hat and gives it to Carl, and then Carl bonds with like the hat type deal, builds up a father relationship with his dad's hat. And it's like, it's strange to see like kind of the adaptions or the slow detail that the show adds in to make you kind of connect with it, or at least get a feel for the characters, like Norman Reedus and his crossbow.
Yeah, yeah. And the shows have been kind of really leaning into that too. Like even Fear the Walking Dead, what it was known for was these like the main people that you end up following are just a family. And they're moving into this world with people with iconic looks. And it's like everybody around them is ridiculous. And these people are only ones who really aren't ridiculous. But eventually the show realized, I think, down the road, because it's changed since season 4 and 5, where, oh, this whole thing with people having iconic looks and weapons and stuff like that, that seems to be working. Let's bring Morgan Jones from The Walking Dead over into Fear the Walking Dead. Morgan from the beginning. And, in later seasons of The Walking Dead, he has his stick, his little bow staff, and, obviously his sayings and whatnot. And then eventually every one of the people on Fear the Walking Dead seem to have their own thing. Like they have a gunslinger, and they have one of the main characters now has like this flash suppressor that is being used for a sword. So it's like kind of shaved down and pointy. So it's really badass. It's like, especially when you hear a whoosh in the air, because the way it's shaped, like a wiffle ball bat.
Like people talk about like a lot of like problems or faults and choose to question a lot of things in the show. Nobody talks about the fucking tiger.
And yet, like when the CGI tiger died, everybody was kind of really sad for some reason. It kind of goes back to the pet conversation.
It's a pet thing, man. That's what it is. When you see an animal die, it doesn't matter what it is. You're like, oh my God, I became more connected with that animal than the person.
And the way it goes too is so bad. Like toxic walkers. It's so awful. Just ganging up on them and stuff.
If I was the governor or whoever or Negan going against and there's a fucking tiger, nah, bro. I'd just submit. You can take that shit.
Yeah. I would just check out.
Nobody was like, I don't want to give up my land. You're going to give up your land. It's like, well, like if I was just that one person that was in the prison at the time, I'd be like, fuck this. I'm out of here. Like, I want to just be away from everyone.
Yeah. And like there are some characters that are like that too. Like one of the characters on the show now is Alden, and he was a former savior, and he's just kind of like, hey, look, I'm just trying to survive. I'm like from Boston, right? I don't have a Boston accent, but
hey, yo, let me get a pastrami on right.
Hey. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm from Southie. Yeah.
You with the fucking jaw on the floor. Hey,
you want to get a pop in the mouth? So he's just trying to survive. He's trying to sweet talk this lady from Hilltop. And, he's trying to basically be the middleman, like peacemaker. Hey, like, hey, listen, I just want to live, so can we live with you? I'll be in the pen here. You can keep me in prison if you want. I just want to live. So, and he's surprisingly, he's made it. Like, I remember when he got his contract signing last year, and it's kind of like, oh, they're really taking this character seriously, and then he becomes this kind of positive force and, with this good community, and all because he kind of wanted somebody to take a chance on him. He's like, hey, I got in this business to survive, but I'm willing to do more.
I think one of my favorite, there's certain moments in The Walking Dead for sure that I have key memory on, like when they go to the prison and find those people that were just inside the cafeteria or whatever. Like that was a good one because you get to see Rick make an actual tough decision the first time that he's really had to do anything like that besides maybe handcuffing Merle to the roof.
Yeah.
But just that. And then if you want to go a little bit fast forward, or no, maybe backtrack, let's say season 2 where he has to kill off Shane, there's a lot of stuff that you get to see tests of moments and stuff that I think people can really connect to. With Merle, where he ends up sacrificing himself, trying to kill the government to protect his brother. Right. Someone that doesn't have a close relationship with a family member or have a brother relationship like that, you don't know how far you would go for someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally was able to relate to that. And everyone just looked at Merle as an asshole. And I was like, no, he's just doing what he can to survive and for his brother's survival as well.
Right. Like unrelenting self-interest. But then you see hey, how far are you willing to do that? And then what are your limits? And then what would you be willing to do to help your brother survive or something because I think Merle also knew he was kind of on borrowed time. So why not just, let me do one stupid thing to help, and then he decided to help his brother out,
He could have built an ark. That's what a small act of random kindness.
Yeah. And so, and it kind of actually brings you to like this season where like we literally just watched 2 episodes ago, sister throw her other sister into like a horde of walkers so that she could survive.
That's what I'm saying. Like eventually your feelings and emotions and like your mental capacity for things, like you saw that little girl kill her sister thinking her zombie's going to come back and be her friend.
Oh yeah. Lizzie
Like,
and Mika, sorry.
Batshit stuff starts happening. I think you become
nuts.
dehumanized. Like you basically become the zombies. Like what's worse? People,
especially kids. Like when you think about like kids and you're thinking to yourself, oh yeah, what would it be like to be a kid growing up in the apocalypse? You know, is it sink or swim? Do you turn kind of batty? And so you see a lot of that. There's an episode called Scars from last year, in season 9 of The Walking Dead. And that is bananas. Like it's like a bunch of kids led by this one adult whom Michonne knows. And because they had a previous relationship prior to the apocalypse. So she's like, oh, you're my buddy. You're my pal. Hey, I'll do anything for you. Oh, okay. Let me help out these kids that you seem to be taking care of. And it just gets dark because apparently her friend Jocelyn, her name is, decided the only way to survive, is just rabid self-interest, is like, it's me and you kids. Everybody else is dog meat. And so, like, literally with a person she knew prior to the apocalypse, Michonne being her, like, they even if it's just a friend that she knew beforehand, doesn't matter. It's me and the kids and no one else. And you see like these kids beating on these adults like Daryl and Michonne, and eventually you do have to make a choice, and it's a really very interesting choice.
Your questions of morals start to change.
Yeah, it's traumatic to like watch and understand, try to understand what some people have to go through.
Well, there's always the fascination aspect with the zombie apocalypse and stuff. When you're building a community, is you want to make sure you breed out the weak. You only the strongest will survive. In the video game, they have a community where no elderly allowed, there were no sick allowed, there were no children allowed. They just bred it all out, and they had zombies on giant spikes sitting out in front of the building, and it was like
to ward people off, right?
Yeah, but it was like crazy to see. But even they got infected and everything. They all got contaminated because someone had a sickness or something and then ended up stabbing somebody, and next thing you know, zombies are coming back and stuff. But it's like the whole concept of breeding out the weak. Like if me and you were going to try and survive the zombie apocalypse, we would have people in our group that we'd have to question first. Like there's always that fucking guy that goes into the grocery store. All right, guys, we're here. We're going to split up, grab all the essentials, things that we can use to survive. One dude's grabbing a shit ton of condoms, fucking grabbing porn mags. Like this is what we're going to need. You're like, we said food.
Well, the magazines are for protection.
What protection of what? Yeah. No, but like he's fucking grabbing the dumbest shit. Like, I got a bunch of airsoft guns. You're like, what the fuck are we gonna do with those? Like, grab some canned food, man. He goes, dude, we gotta have TVs when we're in the zombie apocalypse. There's no power, you moron.
Dumb folk. Yeah, I mean, there's that quotient, right? But then I'm often like, I mean, look, because the apocalypse is what? They're almost, I think, 10 years into the apocalypse, or I don't know, 8 years, I think, as of season 10. If you've made it this far, okay, you cool. But like now it's just a matter of how cool are you? Like because I think the key is to like surviving. It seems to be like everybody has their strength. And as long as you're smart enough to figure out what that strength is and exploit it and like make it, serviceable to the community, I think you're okay. Because I often think about like what it would be like to live in like a modern community with knowing that everybody has the sickness in them. Let's say they die in the middle of the night. You have to have a plan for that. Like if you die in the middle of the night, there must be like some sort of lockdown procedure, right? Where like you're all locked into your own bedrooms. And if one of you dies in the middle of the night, you're not going to wander off and start killing people in different bedrooms, Or like I think about this often.
Someone gets sick.
Either way.
When you're going to question and be like, we have to isolate this person.
Yeah, I think that would be right away. Like sort of, right? You have them in their own ward and then anybody that comes in has to be locked in. right? In case something happens.
Just like the prison, and what they did in the prison when everyone started getting sick, they locked them in
Yeah.
their own cell block. But then you saw with Carol, she took it into her own hands, trying to stop the sickness, and ended up
right, which is not another dimension of crazy too. Like, okay, how far is too far?
Yeah, but see, when you get pushed into a survival instinct, this is what makes the show so fascinating. Is when people get to the point of trying to survive, they start to do some crazy shit they wouldn't find themselves doing if they were faced with anything else.
Right. The only question is like whether it registers how crazy what you're doing is doing. And if it's not, that's a whole other thing you might have to deal with down the road, like as a leader or something, or like a bunch of leaders. It's like, okay, they didn't quite hesitate to burn her friends alive, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, so am I going to have to deal with this later if I get sick or if I stumble or if I, trip on a rock or something? Like, oh, it's time to go.
Just
like
did you
exactly.
Just cough? No, I didn't cough. Like next thing you got
like I swallowed a bug. It's like a bug in there. I can't get it out.
Yeah, something in my eye. Oh,
yeah,
I got allergies. You're sneezing a lot. Like,
oh my god! Like if you're crying, like what if you cry? Just cry.
You fucking sick, bro? You sick, bro?
No, it's just very emotional. It's like, is it time to go? Do they put the gun to the temple?
Oh man!
Like what? How far is too far? Right? Like for survival, and I think that's what the groups are kind of grappling with in season 10. It's like there's like this weird apex of like, okay, you're either going this way down, and it's just all about survival, or it's got to be up. There's got to be something more than survival, right?
You can't have a large community though either, because if you have a large community, people are going to surround themselves with like-minded individual groups, and the next thing you know, you have a split community. You have a bunch of you have the nerds, the jocks, and everything, and next thing you're like, what the hell are we going here?
Yeah, I think you have your own societal challenges too, once you start having bigger groups too. And I do think about that as well. Like, are you better off having these tiny, like little enclaves, and then like eventually, like, do you have a fair, or do you have like a produce fair, or like a trade fair or something like that? And then you have these little communities coming in, and because it's kind of like what you were saying before, is like, it's one thing to isolate. Like every now and again, you got to separate from your partner or your friends or your work or whatever it is. There's another thing to kind of be alone too much. Like you're around the same people 24/7, every now and again. Eventually you have to kind of mix it up. Yeah, exactly.
Butter knife.
Either way, you're reaching for the butter knife.
Damn. See, I would think you'd want to live like in a treehouse or some shit. You want to live off the ground, like in a skyscraper or something. But you want to make sure open, like it's a 1 bedroom on top of a giant ass pole or something. So you don't have to fucking worry about like all these hallways and doorways and shit. Like the prison seems like the best aspect to stay because of the walls. But then you think like if they get in, then you're trapping yourself in there with them.
Oh,
and
exactly.
The hallways are extremely narrow, so you don't see coming around corners.
Yeah, that was the trickiness of like being in the prison too. Like along with being terrifying, dark, and you have no power, and so you're in these dark, hallways, roaming through them and everything. So so there's that aspect. But you are relatively well protected. I don't know what the ideal, like, okay, if you had to ask me on the spot what the ideal scenario would be, is like, I think like the third story of like a 3-family house in Brooklyn or something like that. Like if you could take that and put that in the middle of nowhere, with lines of sight everywhere and plenty of windows, I think I could hang. I think I could hang.
I think that's what keeps like the whole concept of wanting to live in a zombie apocalypse like a thought or thing, because they're just trying to survive. But it's all about having a plan. Like once your plan's kind of fulfilled or it's done or something, and you're just kind of sustaining, it gets a little bit old. And that's where you slip up, and the next thing you know, you're dead.
Yeah. That's funny because like there's this, and I keep forgetting this. There's this like French zombie movie that came out, I think, within the last year or 2 years. And I for the life of me, I think When Night Eats Day, I think it was it what it's called? It has like an American actor, but it happens to take place in Paris. Like he has this like girlfriend, and like they're fighting, and then his ex-girlfriend, I guess, invites him to her party, and then all of a sudden the zombie apocalypse happens while he's in like the office room. He kind of passes out. He wakes up to everybody being dead. And so like I often think about like how that would be like, you know, how would you react and how would you try to survive? And it really goes through some shit too, like psychologically speaking.
I think
Like with
everybody has a plan on what the zombie apocalypse is going to happen, but I don't think anybody takes into the factor of what zombies will be dealing with. Like there's
yeah,
zombies,
yeah,
World War Z ones, and there's the I Am Legend ones, and there's things like Left 4 Dead. If you want to talk about that video game, like there's the giant tank that can flip cars and shit. Like, your whole plan starts to change. You got to be adaptive to your scenario. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like if the house is on fire, you got to figure out a way to get out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I like that movie. Is it has like a little weird happy medium between World War Z zombies and like Walking Dead zombies because they are a bit fast moving. They do like flinch at the sound of anything that comes, like any sound that comes out, they run towards it. So there's something about like those kinds of zombies and stuff.
Yeah,
And
World War Z though, that
it's
shit.
a bit much.
Nah, dude, the teeth chattering and shit. That sound of that porcelain, I was like, the whole time I was cringing, dude. I was like,
Ugh.
oh damn! Like imagine you're just like eating like some ramen in your room or something. Next thing you know, you hear zombies outside. Like, oh, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I mean, and that was what was so cool about the I think it was the beginning of the the fifth season of Fear the Walking Dead is that you find out you see there's this one scene with like somebody had put heads in nets on trees, and all you would hear is that sound. It was just all like
It's their wind chimes. It's their wind.
yeah,
chimes.
oh man. And then we were just like goofing around, and we are like, because that's kind of what we do on the show. It's like, oh my god, it's like Donkey Kong. What if one of them falls? Like you just have to dodge to the side. It's like a new game,
Dude, man.
by Valhalla Media. Like,
oh my god,
dodging zombie heads in trees.
There's so many things that make you question, like what kind of person you would be in the zombie apocalypse, and I feel like it's all like you say what you're gonna do, but you never really know.
Yeah, and that's kind of like why we say like everybody's a Eugene in whatever cosplay you think you are. Like, oh, I'm Rick Grimes. No, you're not. You're Eugene and Rick Grimes cosplay. That's all you like. And here's the thing, and I'm only starting to realize this now. Eugene is your best case scenario because Eugene has some brains.
Yeah, you want to try and deceive people a little bit to kind of think you're the scientist who's got the cure, so people have to protect you. The next thing you know, for me, I'd have to just isolate, man. I want to build a motel. Or like get a thing, get a couple small, like you want to live with your friends a little bit, you know, people that you already associate with on like a basis. Then you kind of want to try and just survive. I mean, everyone talks about going to the water, going to there, but I'm like, it's not going to getting on the boat or anything that gets you killed. It's trying to find one that works. Cause that's probably the sad thing is so many people are probably thinking the exact same thing as you are.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everybody. Do you remember when we had? Did Superstorm Sandy affect you in any way?
Yeah,
because I'm trying to think of like all the different things people were trying to do at the time to keep themselves safe. Like
food and water.
Yeah, and like you try going to a local bodega or something. Like, cause I live in Brooklyn, New York, and like even the smaller bodegas had nothing. It was really bizarre. Like I've never.
Anytime we have a storm or like a tropical or a hurricane or something, immediately you go to Walmart or something, all the fucking water's gone.
Yeah. Or like, here's the weird thing. I would go into like, let's say a Key Food or something like that. And it would be like the stupidest, literally stupidest things that are gone. Like fresh fruit and like think to yourself, like, what do you want if you're going to be days on end? Like, I mean, of course, obviously you want fresh fruit, but it just kind of boggles my mind. Like I did see water that was still there, and I did see like things like jerky that was still there, and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
I always
New York is just so backwards in that respect. Like it's not going to last that long. We might as well have the party.
I love it when they say a hurricane's going to hit us. So my mom's like, "We're gonna pack up and go to Pennsylvania." She grabs my grandma, my brother, and I'm like, "All this
we got to go inland."
I remember we did that one time, and she was like, "I'm giving you $20. Go in the store, get waters, get like a couple cases of water, get like cans, food, and all this shit, like tuna, whatever, you know, stuff like chicken breast in a can or something." I'm like,
right.
I'm like listening to her. I'm like, I already know what I'm gonna do with this $20. I walked in. There was no water. People were fighting over it. I was like, that looks like a hassle. I was like, okay, so I just grab a bunch of cream soda, throw it in the freaking cart. Mountain Dew, throw it in the cart. Next thing you know, I'm grabbing bags of Doritos, and I grabbed what do you call it?
You little asshole.
I grabbed Doritos. I grabbed the dumbest shit that no one can eat, like besides me. And I come in and she's like, "What the fuck?" She's like, how is your 70-year-old grandma gonna munch down on ramen? I'm like, I don't know.
You literally invited diarrhea into your home.
Literally spent all of it on soda and chips, and then I had like a good $1 left over, so I bought a case of ramen and just threw it.
Oh man!
Like, oh, that's a smart one.
How are you gonna make ramen without water? Oh, we'll just use the cream soda.
Fucking, I was innovating from a child. Like, that was your fault. You gave a 14-year-old $20 to go in the store and buy something.
That was your first mistake. Yeah.
You thought you used your head. I'm like, I don't know what's sustainable.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, exactly. I'm the kid here. And like, what this is like, was it pre-cell phone or like?
No, there were cell phones, but they weren't iPhones. They were just like phones.
I see. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, you're absolutely right too. Like you're the kid. You're not supposed to be the responsible one.
Don't put the one with the biggest imagination. Don't give him the money for all of your essential supplies.
Yeah, it's like, unless you're going to shake them really violently and say, this is a problem, it's going down. Like, maybe they'll get it through their head.
I bought lots of gum. Lots and lots of gum.
Nutritious gum.
Gum will keep us not hungry. It fills us up because the bloating factor of it.
Right. You've seen Willy Wonka, right? Like the chocolate factory.
We'll be okay.
Yeah. Hey, this is blueberry gum. We'll just fill up, just the one piece, and then she blew up like a fucking blueberry.
I bought an axe can and a lighter.
Yeah. Well, that would have been better.
That's a weapon. That's when you start robbing people for their water.
Oh, God.
No, you don't understand. I bought this rake. Why do we need this? Because this has helped us get water. How? And just walk over and grab somebody.
Ka-thong.
Right with the rake.
Well, yeah, the rake trick. You're right. Because it's not enough to have the rake. You have to use the rake trick.
You have to trade, too, in the zombie apocalypse.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying about like small groups having trade, right? Like keeping your, like you said, smaller groups, and then like finding a way to kind of connect to other small groups. And then having these trades.
We have a good source of water and crops. We can sustain your village if you would supply us with some guns or maybe some protection. Bam! Next thing you know, you got the communities going.
Or you have gum.
I have I have Trident and I have Orbit. Which one do you prefer?
I think Trident sounds practical.
I'm a bubblicious type of guy.
Right.
Damn it. I'll be back in 20. You need to go right back to the store because nobody's robbing the candy aisle.
Oh, and then
Tallahassee.
And then imagine the guy who makes his own gum, right? You're like, oh, that guy. It's just disgusting.
That's when you want to, like, when you have a goal and then when you finally obtain it, you're complete, but you feel unfulfilled because you worked all that long to get that goal done. Like him getting a Twinkie, then he finally gets it. It's like to get another one, but it's like once he gets like how many and then his goal's fulfilled, it's like, does he need to keep on living? Because that was the whole point. That was keeping him going in the first place.
Yeah, we called him Twinkie Ferguson. He was a good man.
Too much, man. Well, dude, hey, I appreciate you doing the podcast, man. I want to give you here a minute at the end to kind of plug your podcast and where people can find it.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for having me. It was a fun time talking about surviving weather, apocalypse, and everything. So what I do, I'm Dave Cameo, and I have a podcast called Squawking Dead. We pulverize episodes of The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and the upcoming TWD3 and movie weekly, and sometimes more than one, a few times a week. And I'm joined by a lot of co-hosts, which, obviously if you watch, you'll get to meet. And what we do is we try to get audience participation on these weekly episodes. I mean, we start off every episode saying we are Squawking Dead. And so it's really about all of us and trying to get a lot of people involved in the conversation. And we go live weekly and try to do our best.
Well, right on. Thanks for being on this episode of Out of the Blanket. Stay tuned for our next episode.